So Canada, I have to pull up this picture that I got. They are sort of revamping their rules for workers. And they now have this thing where if it's overtime, you can refuse it. It says subject to a narrow exemption for emergencies, but employees will have the right to refuse overtime in order to carry out certain family responsibilities. Advance notice of schedule. Employers must provide 96 hours notice in writing of an employee's work schedule. Employees may refuse to work any of those shifts that start less than 96 hours after the schedule is received. Medical breaks. Employees may take any unpaid breaks necessary for medical reasons. So you clock out and you can go take your medical break. Breaks, period. We have employers will be required to provide their employees with an unpaid break of at least 30 minutes within every period of 5 consecutive hours. So if you work 5 hours or more, you get a 30-minute break. Now, this may sound familiar to a lot of us here in the States because I worked retail my whole life. It was 20 years I've worked retail. And what I can tell you is, statewide, these may be laws and procedures, but there is no federal law that says your employer has to give you a break in the United States. They just figured a tired and hungry worker is not the most efficient one. Therefore, they give you breaks. But a break is not required, except if you have a more dangerous job like truck driving and something like that. But for retail, there are no required breaks by federal law. State law is a different thing. In state law in Texas, when I was there, I believe if it's 6 hours or more, you get a 30-minute break. This is saying 5 hours. So they also have 8-hour rest periods. Employees must be granted a rest period of at least 8 hours, 8 consecutive hours between work shifts. That also does not apply to retail here. It only applies to the dangerous jobs like truck driving. They have to have at least 8 hours between schedules. For instance, I have worked many a times in retail to where I close the store at at midnight and then get back to work at 6 p.m., which means you don't go to sleep because I can't take naps because you have to unwind and all that. And by the time you unwind, it's 3 o'clock, but you have to get up at 5 o'clock to be at work at 6 o'clock. So you can't really take a 2-hour nap and then work another 8-hour shift. So it's not required that there is 8 hours of rest period here federally for all workers, just some workers. And they say there's a right to request flex work. After 6 consecutive months of employment, employees will have the right to request a change to hours, work schedules, locations, and other terms and conditions that may be specified in new regulations and legislations. An employer may refuse such a request on certain grounds. A lot of companies here in the States say you have to be here a year before you can transfer or move or whatever. Leave for Aboriginal practices. Aboriginal employees who have completed at least 3 consecutive months of continuous employment may take up to 5 days unpaid leave each calendar year to participate in traditional Aboriginal practices. And then they have personal leave and this. And so there's a lot of new things that are coming to the employment rules for Canada under Trudeau. Will those come here federally? I'm saying no because it never has before, but let's see. And then I want to know, how is it going to affect? Will that be seen as a good change there? 6 of Cups from the past, Strength, Judgment, the Emperor, the Empress, Four of Wands, Seven of Swords. That says no right there, but let's keep going. Three of Wands, Seven of Cups, Two of Pentacles, the Hangman, the World, Justice, Queen of Pentacles, and Queen of Cups. No, there are some new maternity rules, though, that are coming. Interesting. But this wasn't really about us. I want to see how's that going, because Trudeau needs some help. So, will this be seen as a good thing, bad thing? Is it just one of those things that's going to die out in the headlines in a week or two? The drug companies are fighting him. He's got these new employer regulations. Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Because people who believe they are job creators don't like rules. So, this seems to be leaning very heavily towards the employee and not the employer. So, if you get big business mad at you, then they support the defamation of your character, naturally. So, is this going to be good for you, bad for you, what for you? Well, all signs point to good so far. The Star and the Four of Pentacles. So maybe clinging to the change. So far so good, though. This didn't help. Anyway, Nine of Wands, uphill battle. So there will be some pushback, naturally. But I think this will be good for you still. Maybe it's your Phoenix moment, as you see in the card. So maybe this is your resurgence. This is what you need, something like this. The Moon. So details are not quite clear just yet. King of Cups, on how it will affect. Support systems are all around you, though. King of Wands. So yeah, there are people around. There are some who are a bit of a distraction. But, because they're going to try to, as you can see in this card, sort of a transformation. They're going to try to transform this into something else, but you have people around you that sort of support your Phoenix moment, so I think you'll be fine. The World is in the fear, so completion. Strength is in the hopes. The Emperor. And the Ace of Cups, so your new action is supported. Your authority on this is supported. Three of Wands is in the warning. Like I said, there will be an effort to go against that. Six of Pentacles, but sharing time, money, information, sharing period is on your side. Submission to is on your side. So the Sun and the Seven of Swords. So your strategy is working. But I don't think it's coming here. But it will be good for y'all. Just beware of the detractors.